Good day, mates and mateheads, and welcome to another episode of Fishing for Icebergs. Now, since last time on Let's Build, I haven't really made that many changes. One of the ones that I've done is I've replaced the iron blocks that were in these supports with gold, just because it adds a little bit more colour. I've also added in this section of stairs here instead of just full blocks, and I've also completed the entire Great Hall. Seen on the outside here, you can see we have these iron bar sections here and here, as well as this quartz, cobblestone and glowstone arrangement here. Above it we have a blue and red stained glass circle, as well as black stained glass crosses on either side, and up above we have these flame sections. Now, as we head around, I have also built up the mountain significantly, as well as adding in our first major offshoot guard tower, which is built into the structure through the secondary offshoot of the Great Hall there. As you can see, it goes for quite a long way, and then cuts through the mountain and opens up here. Since last time, I have also gone back and completed the front of the structure. It now continues up past the archways where we saw before, into this smaller archway section, and then a top floor with that iron grating. On this floor with the small archway, it also breaks off into two separate tower sections, with these little bar windows, which can also be seen on the taller tower over there. Now, the roofs of these towers are made from the new dark oak wood. In the older versions of Minecraft, I would have used spruce for the dark colour, but the dark oak wood is just a much richer brown, and so it looks a lot better. At the top of these towers, which are mirrors of one another, you can see small balustrade sections of the 1.5 high stone bricks and the single iron bar sections. And then as we continue down, you can see that there is this sort of sleeping room with 4 beds and a bunch of chests, sort of for like a change of the watch. So while some of the guards are watching up there, others would be sleeping in here. The rest of the towers have yet to be filled, but I am currently trying to think of content to put in them. They are lit at every point by these nether brick and torch chandeliers, just because the area didn't really lend itself to any of the older lighting techniques that I'd used. Continuing into the inside, into the main internal area of the structure, this smaller archway is part of its own floor, which is led up into from the old section. The old section has now been completely enclosed and is lit by the old roof glowstone pattern, as well as these braziers. Now, the wall-mounted braziers have stairs around the side still, but since last time I have redesigned them with a slab instead of a half block at the bottom, a slab instead of stairs at the bottom, just because it leads into the rest of it better. And these are also in the corners, all around the structure, to lend light. As we head up, we see the same effect on this floor, as well as iron doors leading both out onto this balcony section with the same balustrades as below, and into the towers themselves. The stairs then continue up to this top room. Just going to section off these corners. In this top room, it is lit by only the braziers because the roof lighting is unnecessary due to the small size of this room. There is one iron bar window area, and also there is this black clothed table, which would act as a sort of command center in the case of an attack, with the leader of the defense seated here. Now, if we head back down this main area, we come into the original structure, which is still unchanged. However, something I forgot to mention last time is that whereas before there were just stairs along the top and bottom, I have interspersed these stone brick and cobblestone wall sections, which just lend to break up the hallway a little bit and lend a bit more variation and depth to the build. It's always important to make sure that your walls are interesting, because otherwise they can sort of stretch on, and unless there's other things in the room to sort of catch the eye, yeah, it's just important. Now, these two sections still have nothing built off them, but as we head up here we get to see the finished interior of the Great Hall. The Great Hall has, as before, the tables, but lending extra light to that which comes in through the windows back there are quartz braziers, because they look fancier than the stone brick braziers used elsewhere, and these glowstone lamp sections. Now, the lamp sections are rooted into the roof with these 4-post structures, which also have an extra piece of glowstone in them just to light up the roof a bit and to dispel the shadow up there. The fences I'm using here as a sort of surrogate rope sort of thing, and I'm attempting to make sort of like these drooping sections with the lamps hanging down off higher beams. Now, the lamps at the high table are one higher than the lamps over the rest of the hall, and the center line of lamps is one higher than the two sidelines. If we continue along, the servants' entrance over there has not been updated, but if we continue along here, we can see the holes where rooms will inevitably go in this hallway as it's been expanded. Now, along the hallway there are these coal sections, which just add a bit of variation to the walls. As I said earlier, that's very important in a build. And also, the roof has these partitioned glowstone segments to add light. The doors here and here will eventually lead into the guest rooms, which I will build for any visiting nobility, and the one down here will lead into a visiting servants sort of dormitory area. If we look through the tower here, you can see that it is again mostly empty and lit by the nether brick chandeliers, with the windows at the side like the other towers in the front section. And again, just like the front section, there is one of these sort of watch exchange bedrooms on the last floor. And on top of all that, I've continued this mountain section up just so that I can get an idea of what this build will look like when it's finished. And I think you'll agree, it's actually shaping up to look kind of majestic. But I'll get back to you later with another update. Hello, my loyal subjects, and welcome to the update. I'm just saying that because I was in the throne. Hooray for thrones, eh? Anyway, since a few seconds ago, I have gone into all of the rooms that lead off this corridor as it heads up and around. Now, the first room we have here is a servant's quarters, but rather than being like a main servant's quarters, it is a smaller one for servants of any visiting dignitaries. It's just got the basic amenities plus jukebox with records and just all the beds and stuff. Now, this is for servants which are important to the lords and ladies, but aren't so important as to be needed immediately on hand. So they're ones that can't be left outside with the rest of the retinue, like outside the castle, but they're also not like a main butler or maid or something. Now across the hall we just have a small bathroom, couple of stalls here in the same design as the other ones, and 3 basins. And this serves both the servants' quarters as well as being convenient for the Great Hall during any feasts. Now as we head up these stairs here, we come to the first 2 of the guest quarters. The guest quarters are set out like so. There's a couple of chests around, there's tables of fancy woods, both as sort of like a desk area and just to hold flowers over here. There's a small carpeted section at the back with bookshelves and the bed, and yeah, it's all very nice like that. In through here you have each of the people's private ensuite, again with a flower, basin, bath and toilet, and nicely tiled floors. The tiles here are quartz blocks and black stained clay. This other door over here leads into the main servants' quarters. Now, if a visiting dignitary, a lord or a lady, has like a special servant, like a butler or a maid, this is where they would stay with their own bookshelves and beds, easily on call for their master. As you can see, it's exactly the same across the hall, with just slight differences in flower choice, carpeting, tableclothing throughout the build. As we head up the stairs at the end, there is again another quarters for the lords and ladies. Nice little daisy there. And again, servants' quarters, all very basic. However, on top of this, there is also this small room here. Now this is an addition to the Great Hall from before. It is a outpost from which guards can look down over the hall to make sure that everything is okay. On top of this, the guards stationed here would also, in the case of an attack, be able to come here and defend this nice choke point. Narrow corridor, the enemy has to come upstairs. It's a perfect place in a fortress for any defensive action to be mounted before the attackers get round to the royal suites at the end. And that's all we're doing for this episode. Next episode I will show you what this large circular room is here, and also whatever other stuff I get up to. But if you've enjoyed this video, please press all the appropriate buttons, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.